Good morning, students. Welcome back to lecture 8. Today we will be talking mainly about biological databases and one concept of the unit 2 genome sequence databases. I divided the talk into several concepts. In general, we will talk about what is the database in terms of computer sciences, in terms of general terms, and then what is a biological database in specifically. And briefly, we will talk about the field of bioinformatics and later what are the types of biological databases available. And then coming on to more details are genome or genome sequence databases and conclude with what are the applications of biological databases for the present class. So in computer language, a database is a structured collection of information. So there is an information available. A person who needs to study the information with the limitations of the human conscience, human capacity, he cannot study the information on his own because the information cannot be studied in a day or in an hour, in a month. Information in terms of the quantity and quality is also very uh, huge that an individual person cannot study it. That's why we use a computational tools. We use advancement of the computer language to get into the information in a part that where I want the information to be given to me in a sorted out simplistic way where I can easily analyze the information. For example, you're studying a newspaper and you need to attach the newspaper again. How many pieces you shred it using a shredder, you don't know. But if you use a kind of automated tools, a kind of, for example, a robot, give them the shredded newspaper, he can use it through his capacity and count them individually by size, by differences. And then he can align them into a specific folders of size, specific folder of color. Then he can give you separate whatever you want. You want the color based, you want the kind of size based. The computer in terms of the robot or computer can give you the information in a proper format called database format. So it's a structured collection of information. It consists of basic units called records or entries. Database will have a unit of the basic unit called records or entries. And again, each record will have fields. Those fields are predefined already. Predefined to what the data should be given in the output format. So the fields are predefined. The records are entries at the basic function. So a database consists of collection of structure information which will have a basic units of records or entries. Records or entries constitute of fields. But coming out in the field of bioinformatics, a sequence database is a type of biological database that is composed of a large collection of computerized digitalized nucleic acid sequences, protein sequences, or other polymer sequences stored on a computer. So in the database, you're talking about the computer's information that general to computer biologist or common person. But coming on to field of bioinformatics, you're specifically talking about a sequence databases that correspond to nucleic acid, proteins, or the protein polymer sequence. So you're using these data in terms of the computers and analyze the data. That is the field of study bioinformatics. Studying biology using computers in simplistic form. An example of protein database would have a protein entries. For example, you're talking about record or entries here. Protein entries as records and protein properties as fields. What are the fields in terms of protein database? You can call name of the protein, length of the amino acid, length and amino acid sequences, structure of the protein. Anything you can, three-dimensional structure, what is the annotation of the protein. You can study any post-translational modification of the protein. You can take any field taking a record only a protein properties as a record. That is a fundamental understanding of a database, biological database, an example, protein data. Again, going in terms of the definition, bioinformatics is conceptualizing biology in terms of informatic techniques. That is conceptualizing biology in terms of molecules and applying informatic techniques derived from applied maths, computer science, and statistics. Please remember that. This is coming from your biology, either protein or nucleic acid study, but informatic techniques are mainly, they don't care whether it's a binary code 100 or it's a code from ATGCs, it's code from amino acids, it doesn't know. Information technique analyze the data given for the biology in terms of applying mathematics, computer science, and statistics. It's basically a management information system. The bioinformatics consists of two subfields: how this information can be put into database, how you can provide algorithms to analyze the data. Basically, the first step is the first subfield is called the development of computer tools and databases. First thing. And the second thing is application of these tools and database in generating biological knowledge to better understanding living systems. So you use these computational tools and databases to generate more knowledge that is suitable to a person who is working in the field, who may not be an expert in in computer science, but still he can understand as a common man, understand what is the biology I'm talking about here. These two fields are complementary each other. They go hand in hand. You need to work in a system of feedback loops that we will talk in the end of the class today. And the first thing, how do you develop the tools? The tool development includes writing a software, because you should be a computational biologist. You know about the software programming languages. Based on the request, based on the demand, based on the data given, you need to write a software for sequence, structural, and functional analysis. And also you need to be able to construct and curate a biological database. You should be knowledgeable enough for curation and writing a software analysis. These tools are used in three areas of genomic and molecular that already we studied, and we will look more in the further slides. And the analysis of biological data often generate new problem and challenges. Again, what are the pros and cons? It's given a data, you start software, you start constructing and curating a database, but how sure are you that it's gonna give the output that is relevant to the question at hand, relevant to the biological system at hand? You don't know that, because once you generate through software database, you generate some data, the data may have some issues. So it may often generate problems and challenges, because you are confident that you wrote a perfect language, you curated perfect biological database, but still there are some cons you need to look on. So that puts a challenge for a bioinformatician. Then he need to rethink, reconsider his plan for these two steps and design an alternative plan, alternative software, and work through that whether the system works in a better way or not. And coming on to biological data resources, biological data also, because for example, I am working in a spider genome, or why I am working with the C. elegans nematode. One isolate will be there given from all over the worm biologists are working. But I went to my garden, I went to my apartment complex, I dig the garden, I found another nematode that looks similar to the C. elegans I was working. I am curious whether it is the same nematode or not. So I can use the genome sequence analysis, get the genome of this new species I am expecting. I can get the genome and compare to the old genome or reference genome and see whether it is same C. elegans I'm talking or it's a different species of C. elegans. In terms of taking the whole organism, that is one, but you may be working on a specific gene or nucleotide sequence, specific protein or amino acid sequence. So you may find your own through computational and molecular biology tools, but if you don't know anything, you need to start from scratch. You can go and find in a data resources or databases. You can find a specific nucleotide and amino acid sequence you need. I can go to C. elegans genome and start from working on a gene in cancer, that is EGF receptor or EGF pathway. I can look at what is the genome sequence, what is the gene sequence, what is the amino acid sequence. And also in terms of, there are many databases are available. It's not only one, you go to one Bible, go and search everything in the Bible or phone directory, not like that. There are thousands of genomic databases or biological databases, tools and resources are available that are publicly, freely accessible on the internet. So then the question puts, I want to know this nucleotide information. There are tons and tons of databases. Where should I go? Which should I go? That you will have a question. And then how reliable are they? Each one of the database or tools I'm using, how confident I am that it's going to give the right information for me. These are the fundamental questions you ask for generating data, searching the data, analyzing the data. And also in terms of the how much data available over there. So it's exponentially grown. For example, genomic data, you look in the time year here in the x-axis, and y-axis are the genomes, how many in terms of how many genomes are sequenced, complete genomes in NCBI. This is one of the database we will see. The red is viruses, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Eukaryotes are low, but virus and prokaryotes are sequenced in a higher proportion. For example, in terms of viruses, you are looking 4,000 genomes, prokaryotes, you're looking 3,000 genomes, and vertebrates, you're looking about less than 500 genomes in the year 2015. The number might have changed now. So over the past decade, we have seen an exponential increase in the number of sequenced, assembled, and annotated genomes. These genomes are essential for pretty much any of the genomics research. Genomics is, we are talking about omics research, right? You talk about individual gene, individual polypeptide. You talk about individual genomes, you go into genomics. If you don't have genes and genome to study, there is no genomic study, genomic data, there is no tools, there is no need of database. The first raw material is genes or genomes. If you want to sequence the genome or any omics you are studying, you need at least, you want to start as a solid, confident person, you need a reference genome to which you align your sequence data. Because you're talking in terms of binary code for computers, you're talking in terms of ATGCs for nucleotides, amino acid sequences for protein in terms of the databases. Let's say you sequence something new, a kind of novel sequence, novel genome, then it is really tough. You need to really work hard to find that everything is good with the data you are given. You need to work from scratch, start from scratch. But if you have already a given reference genome, your job will be easy because you're looking about huge data information, huge comparative studies. Okay, for example, human genome. If I want my genome sequence, your genome sequence, you can sequence it in 1 or 2 days, paying $1,000 to $2,000. You can analyze the data compared to the reference human genome already available, and then you can deduce whatever other outputs you want to study. That is one of the best thing. If you have a reference genome, your life will be smooth. Again, genomes are first published in a draft form, right? We talked about last week Human Genome Project, genomes of bacteria, genomes of yeast. And we know that in the last step, you will have a draft sequence and later you will have a annotated completed sequence. So the draft sequence is the rough patch, and whatever methodology or techniques you use differ from person to person, differs from technology to technology, country to country, because huge amount of money is involved. So basically the first draft or incomplete unannotated draft will have low quality per se, and the low quality causes over and underestimation of gene numbers, and assembly will be problem. And you can use multiple annotations or tools already available from the public databases. You try to see why my quality is low, how I can improvise it, how I can annotate it better. Later, you can work it on it. But if you work with the quality already first time itself, better quality, then conclusions will be good. You don't need to put much great deal of research on the drafting of it, improving annotation. Because it's nothing easy, right? Nothing comes without money. So you are spending a lot of money on analyzing the databases, genomes, everything. So you start with a good material, you can get the good outputs from the money invested. So just quickly, I will recap the fundamental units of in terms of biological data, where the data will be generated. What is systems biology? We already spoken in the introductory classes. So for example, genes, fundamental units of the genes consist of ATGCs. The units they produce ATGCs, they are genes to genomes. And then transcriptomics, mRNAs, processing of mRNAs, splicing mechanism that gives rise to transcriptomics. Proteomics consists of amino acids, primary, secondary, tertiary conformation, post-translational modification that constitute proteome. And again, metabolites will consist of several toxins and macro and micromolecules within the body that help in catabolism and anabolism that constitute the metabolites. So you will have functional units. You will have each unit constituting of the basic units. You will have a data generated in terms of whatever multiple biological inputs you put through. That's the systems biology we discussed. The data in terms of computers here, the data may be ATGCs or amino acid sequences. You going from genome to phenome, genome to omic studies and analysis organization. So coming on to biological databases, we have spoken in the previous few slides. What is a computer database? What is a biological database? What the biological database, where it gets the input data that we talked about. Coming on to categorization of biological databases, you see a kind of primary databases and derived databases. So there are two preliminary distinctions. One is primary, second one is derived databases. The primary databases are archival in nature. So archival in nature because you may say that I am working with a spider, I am working with C. elegans, I sequenced something, I just want to give the public that information. So primary databases, experimental results submitted directly into the database by researchers. Researcher can use any method they want. So they just got some sequence information. They just want to give it to the database and tell that it may be a novel, something I worked on, take it. So the primary databases takes it and any of the sequence, nucleotide, protein, or any other thing you are doing it. They may be acting as public repositories with any corner, nook and corner of the world, any public who is a researcher, who is a scientist working in this, can submit to the primary database. An example of primary databases are European Nucleotide Archive, Array Express Archive, PDB, Protein Database, Gene Bank, and SNP, etc. We will see what are these given the time. And derived databases they are using the information available in primary databases, cross-checking them, making them into a proper relevant information of the layers of information that you can study DNA protein sequence data. So derived databases are not open to public. They will be maintained by third parties organizations, and they will check that whether the primary database information is genuine, authentic or not. Then they curate it, they produce into other information that is reliable. For example, NCBI, RefSec, Unigene, Swissprot, these are the databases, for example, for derived data. So coming on to the sequence analyzed, you have amino acid nucleotide sequences. Amino acid sequence can give the protein domain analysis, protein profile searching, protein tertiary structure. You can go and analyze from the amino acid sequences. Coming on to nucleic acid sequences, you look into your concepts of alignment. I want to compare this sequence with other alignment properties, graphical alignment, what are the types of graphical alignment, and motif detection. Okay, I aligned two sequences, human and chimp, human and worm, human and fly. What are the motifs that is common to them? And the motif detection, the software can recognize based on the nucleotide. This is one distinction of what are the sequence analyzed in the database. Again, databases based on the sequences, you can define it to a spelling mistake here. Nucleotide database, protein database. The nucleotide database is composed into these database units called NCBI. These are the nucleotide databases, genome databases. NCBI, EMBL, DDBJ, this is from Japan, this is from Europe, this is from USA. We will see the expansion in further slides. And protein databases are divided by into UniProt, XPASI, AIR, and PDB. So based on the protein and nucleotide, specific databases have been established so far. In simple terms, your software and database construction and curation based on the need, based on the input available, and based on what the output you need. You need an output of sequence analysis, you need an output of structural analysis, you need an output of functional analysis in terms of the application of that, what you are looking for. Again, for example, structural analysis, you are looking into nucleic acid structure prediction, protein structure prediction, protein structure classification, protein structure comparison. These are basic things. What are the structures? You look around here. Structural genomics, structural proteomics, we talked again. Functional genomics and sequences, genomics that we already studied. You go into that. In each category, you can define the function. For example, genome, sequence analysis of nucleotide, genome comparison, phylogeny, you want to look into the evolutionary trend, gene promoter and prediction, motif discovery, sequence database searching, sequence alignment. You can go for nucleotide. Functional analysis, combining these two, you go into a metabolic pathway modeling, gene expression profiling, protein-protein interaction, localization of the protein. Based on the input, based on the output you want, you can develop the software and databases for it. So there are again generalized and specialized databases. Generalized database, as we discussed, go into protein and nucleotide. But specialized database, again, they go into a unique sets of the input, or unique sets of the output you want from the data, because you don't want to look into generality of proteins and nucleic acid. You want to zoom in more detail into the DNA variability or polymorphism from individual haplotypes. So you go into specialized databases. One database only talks about expressed sequence tags, sequence tagged sites, SNP, single nucleotide polymorphism, because this makes you that you are going into a zooming in, you are going to your own corner, you want the input, what you can put, and then output you want, leaving the other general concepts of the database. This we will talk in the next class. What are ESTs, SNPs, STS sequences? This is part of the curriculum in Unit 2. We will talk in the next class. So this is generalized and specialized database. And just make sure that all the databases are publicly available. You don't need to pay money to use any of these biological databases, or are funded by governments, and it's publicly available. As you know, the ethical, social, and other consequences of Human Genome Project, we talked about that there should be any information is publicly available, it should not be hidden. Based on the motto, all databases are publicly available. The public domain, that's NCBS, is called National Center for Biotechnology Information, United States, European Bioinformatics Institute, UK, and GenomeNet DDJB is the concepts in conceptualized in Japan. So these are the tools. For example, BLAST and FASTA sequences for nucleotides. There is a BLAST-N for nucleotide, BLAST-P for protein that you already know. The input that you give in a format is called FASTA format. Again, in terms of now you have multiple database, multiple curation and annotations you can do. But what about the records or entries? What about the fields you want to give it to the database? You don't want to give a field specific to protein. The term you cannot give it to nucleic acid, right? Because proteins consist of three-dimensional structure. They consist of amino acid units, polypeptides, and glycosylation that may not be there in nucleic acid sequence. So the entries, records, or fields should mutually agree with that. Whatever the ontology, the terminology you are using in the database should align with whatever the output, whatever the question you are asking for. So this is a specific example of multiple alignment ontology. You're looking on the nucleic acid sequence of a concept, multiple sequence alignment. So you take this concept, you put this information to database, you give 2 genome sequences, align them to this, but output will consist of several ontological terms that consists of sub-alignment, alignment sequence, alignment column. What is the residue? For a nucleic acid sequence, it can be converted into amino acid sequence or nucleotide. What are the residue? Structure, location, residue function in terms of the out and hinge region or exposed or helix. What are the interaction, any mutations are available there. So you can give a specific ontology to the databases. This is a part of, this is an attribute of coming from this. This is a part of these different arrows will tell different attributes or properties of these ontological terms. So you take any database, you need to give this before entering your software. In simple terms, again, application, and you use computation and you combine them together. Whatever data you are given here in terms of application, database construction, software development, or algorithm development. The computational biologist first tests everything, make sure that everything is fine. Then a general biology person can come and use this software to understand what he needs to do. But the same way, a bioinformatician who is a bridge for both, who knows the basics of the both concepts, he can analyze the concepts in well in prepared manner. So a simple database for basic outline of automated genome sequencing, automated genome annotation pipeline and delivery system. This is complete system we are speaking about here, automatic genome annotation pipeline and delivery system. We already spoken last few classes, Human Genome Project, how the next generation sequencing can be done. But you are looking at a central here, core database. You are looking at the left one region, you are looking at the right one region. Left is called pipeline data. So the data in the pipeline. So whatever coming from your experimental data, you want to put it into the core database. You create the data into specific requirements, DNA sequences, genes, annotated genomes, whatever protein predictions you do. And then you give this information to the database. Again, in parallel, there is a kind of delivery system called this data analyzed by the core database can come into a kind of form output that is, it can be distributed to you or to public. But you don't know what the data reliability, what the data authenticity. So to make a cross check, this database system has a whole system. It will use another property on the right is called delivery system, where the website annotation delivery system, it curates all the information given to that bits and pieces. It goes into a kind of comparing this information coming from here to the core database into the linked databases, user annotation. It compares with multiple species, make sure that the alignment is proper, everything is working fine, cross check it multiple times, then make sure that we are ready to go here and distribute the data. Still again, it may be first draft only, that we don't know. Again, you have to look into the data, again come back, again check back here everything, and again redo the process until ensure that every single nucleotide of the genome ATGC is proper, correctly annotated. That is an example of a core database in terms of genome annotation that you looked into that. So that's it. In the second part of the class, we discuss a little bit more on types of biological databases, how a software algorithm can produce a complete database, a software that developed to take the input and give an output in the required form. We looked at in the second portion of the study and the talk today. And the third part of the talk will consist of the genomic databases. Specifically, we are talking about genomes now. The genomic databases are data banks where the information related to genomic sequence of different organisms are present. We know that there are a lot of completed genomes are there. All the genomes have been put it into a specific databases where you can search and find a specific genome. These databases mainly helps to view different genomes, different sequence maps, contigs, physical and genetic maps, and gene annotation information. We already talked about how your genome project or human genome project was done. There are several steps: physical and genetic maps, contig formation, genomes and clones, subcloning, and comparison. So basically all the information will be available in the genomic database. So each and every data is specified as, again talking to fundamentals of databases. A record will be there with a name, number, address, and date. And the desired data can be required into a database, particular information about the data. Whatever you want from it, you can decide and get the data. But the data will consist of name, number, address, and date, who is deposited. So in NCBI genome database, you have a lot of major class of organisms in this here. A lot of genomes are available. And the genome databases are divided into three categories that's called Ensembl, NCBI, and the UCSC sequence genome. So for example, here we are looking at Ensembl, one of the genome sequence database. Ensembl is so it is a database coming from organization from the EMBL, EBI, and Wellcome Trust Sanger Institute in Europe. It consists of a sequence called Ensembl sequences, a comprehensive source of stable automatic annotation of human genome sequences. It helps in predicting genes and genomes and different family of gene families databases. It also called as ab initio gene prediction, homology gene prediction, HHM-based gene prediction models. That one of the concept, gene ontology, gene prediction, we need to study at the end of the unit 2. We will study into that. So basically, the next few slides will consist of what is the database about, what is the functional information of the database, what you can get out of it, and the Ensembl uses a software from language BioPerl and MySQL. It may not be necessary for you, but look into the biological information. What you get, you go into this website, you look into that each data. Same way, NCBS consists of National Center for Biological Information, established in 1988 from a National Institute of Health and Bethesda. And it consists of several of the branches. This is conglomeration of several units of the basic information you need. For example, nucleotide database, Entrance database, genome specific database. A lot of combination of the tools you can see through NCBI. You can go through that. You can search for each one of these organism alignments here. And database retrieval system is called Entrance. You enter whatever you want. There is a database in NCBI that provides the information. Most of the information in BLAST information, FASTA sequence are available, and another sequence formation is there. So that you can go by NCBI. Again, one more thing for gene expression omnibus. That is also used for NCBI, one of the part of the NCBI database only, but it specifically looks on microarray, next generation sequencing data, genome polymorphism, chromatin structure. So there is reference sequence. This is one of the thing we talked about. This is that you have something novel sequence you thought you sequenced, but you don't know what is it. You want to just compare it that you found something new or you found that is already established. So you go and search in the reference sequence. They will have from species to species, one of the well annotated reference sequence. You compare and you get a data in polymorphism and gene identification. Again, entrance, what I talked is a database that is a literature search or anything you can do on NCBI. One more important browser for genomes is called UCSC Genome Browser. It's called University of California, Santa Cruz, established. It's one of the well-established genomic browser. It will consist of different species and different annotations, different genomes. For example, if you go and search for some human genome in the database, I'm looking into a kind of human genome assembly of UCSC Genome Browser. Specific assembly, you can see here, I'm looking on human chromosome X. I'm starting sequence location here in the data. I'm going into the start and end location. I'm spanning a space of 42,000 base pairs, 42,808 base pairs of the DNA within that location here. When you zoom in, you go into the sequences here specifically and zoom in more. I'm looking into a specific gene called ACE2, and I'm looking into a comparative sequence here in terms of haplotypes. You can see, you keep looking into that, the left corner sequence information here, and this is the phylogeny. The sequence is compared with the rhesus monkey, mouse, dog, elephant, and what is the homology here. I can look into that. Based on the homology, I can look into the SNPs in terms of humans. I can look at specific sequences called signs and lines, other basic nucleotide differences I want to look. So the ACE is nothing but angiotensin converting enzyme 2. You again go into zoom into specific sequence. You can take anything, genes or sequence you want, any genome you want, go to this browser, it will give the information in this depiction. Again, there is one more database for genomic databases. It's called very important database, but called ENCODE. It is Encyclopedia of DNA Elements. So we already know that the DNA will consist of several elements. For example, promoters, transcripts in terms of promoter, enhancer, silencer, and insulators. Because if you know only promoter sequence, it may not be good enough to analyze the gene expression. You need to know about enhancers also. If you want to make a fusion reporter, study expression databases, expression of the genes, you need to take the enhancer sequence, make the promoter, make a reporter. So this database provides complete encyclopedia of DNA elements across species. So we have less than 2 minutes, so I will give a little bit more brush up. So basically, based on the tool you are looking for, you can go into the output you want, whatever you are studying here, phylogenetic analysis, comparative genomics, short structure and comparison of the proteins, that you can go into specific input, output, specific database you want. So I will quickly go now. This is just descriptive information. You can go on your free time. This is a database, URL link here, repositories, NCBI, DDJB, what are those? Genome browser here, Ensemble, UCSC browser, another NCBI map viewer, and then projects of genome browser ENCODE and 1000 genome projects. And this is an important specifically in terms of species and taxa. You go to rat genome, you go to C. elegans genome called worm base, you go to fly base where Drosophila you can study. Same way you go into different organism, you look into the database. Again, some in terms of the human HapMap, human haplotype sequencing, and several other segmental databases available here. You go into that, and this is additional information relevant to each whatever you are looking into that. SNP mapping, primer, SRS, you go into that alignment sequences here. We will take it up next class again. What are these analyses? We will look again a little bit more detail. Coming on to the end, on challenges, promises, how are the things entered, authenticity of the information, what are the evidence, quality of the information, is the information newness, and because it helps in getting funding, can the data be patented, redundant and non-redundant, single or multiple. This we will talk again if given time. You're looking at biological and biomedical experimentation, a combination of methodology development, computer statistics. You are looking for the specific cancer biology, specific human genome regulation. Okay, that's a summary of